I think he was ill.
Billy Graham.
Hmm.
Billy Graham died, didn't he?
I think he said he was ill or something.
Didn't he die years ago? Wait a minute. Are you kidding me? Billy Graham?
Hmm. The
I thought
wrestler.
he died like 100 years ago.
100 years ago.
You're talking about Billy Graham the preacher or Billy Graham the wrestler?
The wrestler.
Oh, superstar Billy
Superstar
Graham.
Graham Graham. Yeah, he's ill.
He's been ill
Yeah, he's in the hospital again.
again. He's,
Hmm.
you know,
Hmm.
we had years ago, we had what do you call like a fundraiser for him? It
Hmm.
was a benefit. That's what it
Yes.
was. It was a benefit.
Hmm.
And, everybody got to talk to him on the phone. I talked to him for a little while. Here we go.
Hmm.
Trending superstar Billy Graham. He's 79 years old. Um, so what did they say? Why is he in the hospital? What's going on?
Something I didn't really get to read the whole article, but because was doing my study on tonight's show, so I was just.
Hospitalized for weak suffering. Oh, a
Hmm.
cardiac
Hmm.
episode. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Hmm.
Because his real name is Wayne Coleman.
Hmm.
He started out as a bodybuilder.
Wow, a long time ago.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Look at the way he's built.
Yeah.
You know,
Hmm.
he's built like a brick wall with a head.
Yeah, it's like boom, hit that brick wall. You better watch out because he's coming for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
That's Hulk Hogan.
Hmm.
Stole Billy Graham's whole routine with the python and
Oh no.
the 24-inch pythons and
Hmm.
calling people brother and baby and daddy. Listen, daddy. Crazy. That world of wrestling's nuts. I got a funny feeling though
Hmm.
with that because Superstar has been through this before.
Hmm.
I don't know if he's going to be so lucky this time
Yeah.
because he's 79 years old and he hasn't been in good health in a long
Yeah.
time.
Always send our thoughts and prayers for him.
Yeah.
So yeah.
He had to have a liver transplant years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. Years and years of steroid abuse.
Mm.
That's part of his problem now.
Mm.
All those years of doing steroids caught up with his heart.
Wow.
Yeah.
Gotta be
Well, listen,
careful
you
to
want
take that
to,
medication. Yeah.
yeah, you want to do the show tonight?
Let's do it.
Let's do this because we're sitting here bullshitting and we're on the air for like 2 minutes already. So
Oh, we got a
let's get
great
the
show
hell out of
tonight.
here. I'll see you in a minute.
See you in a minute.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
It's 4 o'clock in Los Angeles, 6 o'clock in Chicago, and in New York City at 7 p.m. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a beautiful Monday night. It's the Mad Dog and the Pit Bull, and this is What's the Buzz. Tonight, a very, very special episode of What's the Buzz. We look into the mysterious and tragic death of a beloved comedian, Bob Saget. But before I get into that, let me introduce the mouth of the South herself, Amelia, the Pitbull Chapman. How are you, kid?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I'm wonderful. What did you do today?
Just to take a lot of calls with people getting angry, but look, it's not my fault. Okay, people at Spectrum that had the issues today, not me.
Yeah, exactly. Just when in doubt, blame someone else. That's
Hmm.
what you do.
Well, it's
That's what you
like
do.
system was down because people were like saying we sound like a robot today. Well, look, people, I can't help it. It
It's the
wasn't
phone.
me. Yeah, it was
Your
the
phone
phone.
system stinks. That's all.
Yeah, we couldn't help
It
it.
happens.
Yeah.
It happens. Well, listen, you brought me a show idea
Mm-hmm.
because it's something you wanted to do. Well, here we go.
Yes.
We got an amazing show idea tonight. The death of Bob Saget. Everyone was, of course, as well. We should be. Everyone was
Mm-hmm.
really surprised
Yes.
at the passing of comedian Bob Saget. When he died, nobody thought of it as okay. Well, he fell, he hit his head.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not so fast now,
No.
because there are reports coming out and information being gathered that says maybe not so quick,
Mm-mm.
not so fast on the slip and fall idea.
No.
So let me get right into this with you. We're not going to waste any more time.
Mm-mm.
Where is your head on this whole thing, Amelia?
I mean, because think about it. You don't just bump your head and then all of a sudden you go not wake up. I mean, think about it. If you bump your head, you're gonna not go to sleep for a few hours. You're gonna know that. Especially you're gonna,
Well, and that I agree with that, but
but
here's what confuses the issue.
mm-hmm.
He just performed a sellout show at
Right.
the Hard Rock.
2 hours, you'd be all hyped up and everything.
Exactly.
You're gonna go to your room by yourself? No, 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 no. No.
Well, that's one, yeah, and that's a very valid point. It's one issue we're going to talk about,
Mm-hmm.
because I have a whole set of questions about why
Right.
he was by himself.
Yes.
But he just did a sellout show, a whole weekend
Mm-hmm.
of sellout shows from Friday night, Thursday, Friday night, and
Mm-hmm.
now this, I believe this was going to be maybe, I'm wanting to say this was like a Saturday night, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was
Um,
so excited because he was like, he told the audience, I had no idea I did a 2 hour set tonight. He's so excited and addicted to do this again. He was just really excited
yeah,
and hyped and
he sure did. He said I
mm-hmm.
did a whole 2 hours and I didn't realize it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he passed on January 9th of
Mm-hmm.
this year.
Yes.
All right. So, and he was in Florida, in fact, just a couple of hours from where you are right now.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And so the official story started out that he did the show.
Mm-hmm.
He had a great night. He was all wired up. He came back to the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
They say, I got to be very careful about this. They say that there's video footage of him getting off the elevator by himself.
Right.
Red flag number one.
What? Yes.
Number one. So he goes to his door and he opens the door. He goes in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that's the last you see of Bob Saget,
Right.
according to the report.
Mm-hmm.
I have a problem with that on a couple levels. Number
Right.
one, no video ever surfaced.
Mm-mm.
And the police, if they have a video, are not showing it.
No.
The other thing that concerns me is how quiet the family is being. If your loved one just died, wouldn't you
That's
want to
true.
know what the fuck happened?
Exactly. And according, there was no food in his system. Wouldn't you want to eat right after a show?
Well, not only that, but you sometimes you eat before a show.
Yeah, and there was no food in his system,
No.
from what I hear.
No.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't buy that either.
No. Mm-mm.
I don't buy that. First of all,
Mm-mm.
understand something. If you're, and I've done this, folks, because I've done comedy. I've been in the
Mm-hmm.
entertainment business my whole life. I've been in some form of show business or
Yeah.
another. And you're going to eat either
Mm-hmm.
before your show or right after you get off that stage because you're hungry.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're doing a 2-hour show like he did.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to tell me that you're going to stand up on the stage for 2 hours with only a bottle of water, or he had 3 or 4 bottles of water there, so we know
Right.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you can see them in the video clip
Mm-hmm.
because somebody was smart enough that they filmed his show
Mm-hmm.
on their cell phone, which is fine. You can do that. And there were, he had I don't know, like a bar stool kind
Mm-hmm.
of thing, and he had a couple of drinks on it. And there was another bar stool with a guitar on it because he played guitar too.
Oh yes.
Um, so if you consider that at some point, either right before or right after, he was going to eat something,
Right.
and there was nothing in his stomach. Now, tell everybody, Amelia,
Mm-hmm.
what kind of drugs they found in his system, because we're going to talk about that.
It's one of them is clozapam, for it's commonly known as a Klonopin or
Yeah,
benzaprine. Is a generic which is to prevent seizures and
yeah,
to treat panic attacks, and
right.
also trazodone, which is an antidepressant, uh,
Hmm.
which is also helps you sleep. But
Yeah,
you got to be very careful because those combined together can cause your harm your memory, and also really good kind of hurt your judgment a little bit and your coordination. That's what they said.
and Amelia should know. Amelia works in the medical field,
Hmm.
and she makes appointments for people. That's what she does. So she has medical knowledge. Here's the question I have: what did Bob Saget do for a living?
He was a comedian, stand-up comedian.
A stand-up comedian. Wouldn't you think, Amelia? And you don't have to be a doctor or anything to
No.
figure this out.
Mm-mm.
But wouldn't you figure that if you're doing a show, you want to remember what you're doing, right?
Oh,
And you want
absolutely.
to be on your ball, right? You want to be
Yeah.
sharp. The
Sharp and
last thing you're going to
happy
take
and
is Clonopin, right?
right. And you want to be happy and sharp and get like this on your lines, just like this, stick of the top of your head, like
Yeah.
line after line. Yeah.
And so I don't buy that whole idea
Mm-mm.
that he was, because if you're on a stage for first of all,
Mm-hmm.
if you're on a stage for 2 hours and you're getting like, one line after another, people are
Mm-hmm.
applauding and laughing,
Oh yeah.
you're on your game, okay?
Mhm. Oh, yes.
You're on your game. You can't do that if you're jacked up on some shit,
No, because some of these you have to
okay?
take every 4 to 6 hours depending on the doctor that you
Right.
have to take, and
But the
you
other
can't leave.
thing is, wouldn't it, if he were taking that before the show,
He'd be like this, all depressed like
wh-
this, and just,
he would be a zombie.
yeah. He'd be like,
And if he
"Hello,
took it
everyone."
after well, here's the thing too, and you're going where I'm going. So,
Mhm.
if he did it after the show, wouldn't it show up?
Oh, yes, of course it would.
And you're not going to take medicine on an empty stomach,
No. I
and you
couldn't
don't have to
either.
be brilliant to figure that one out either.
Exactly.
And I'm going to give Bob Saget credit. He was a smart guy.
Mhm.
I don't think he was dumb enough to take that kind of heavy duty medicine
No.
with no food in his stomach.
Exactly, because his wife, I know that she would help him out, say, "Look, you gotta take this a certain time, this a certain time." That's why he would take it with them.
How many times did the family try to call him?
Oh, at least several times, and they couldn't get a hold of him, so they finally called the police or the hotel to do a well check on him when they couldn't get a hold of him.
Now, let us talk about what happened. All right, so
Mhm.
we went through a lot of trouble. I say
Mhm.
we, meaning I.
Yes.
I went through a lot of trouble, but I got Bob Saget's autopsy report.
Wow.
Yeah, I have it. So here's what I have here, and I want to read some stuff to
Yeah.
you. He died on the bed with his right arm across his chest and his left arm on the bed.
Like it'd be like this, kind of like, I guess.
Yeah, but wait a minute.
Uh-huh.
That's not right.
Uh-uh.
The police report, Amelia says,
Uh-huh.
he died on the bathroom floor as a result of hitting his head on the floor.
So that's contradicting two different stories right
Well,
there.
wait a minute. There's going to be a third story too. You're going to hear it right now.
Oh.
Oh yeah, it gets good. One problem. The bathroom was bone dry. There was no water on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing for him to slip on.
Right.
He had rubber soled shoes on, which would make it virtually impossible to slip.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Not a drop of water on. Again, I'm going to say that again. Not a drop of water on the
Mm-hmm.
floor. Question I have: how did he slip, and what did he slip on?
Hmm.
How did he slip, and what did he slip on? Now, I'm not a forensic doctor or a pathologist. But I'm just a guy asking questions.
Right.
I think it's a pretty easy question. Nobody can give me an answer on it, though.
No.
Let me ask you a question, Amelia. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Put your doctor hat on for a minute.
Okay.
So you're Bob Saget. You're in a hotel room with a marble floor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. By the way, the floor was marble, very hard. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We know that. How do you slip on the floor with no water? And you got rubber shoes on.
You can't. Um. You can't slip on that.
You just answered my question. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Okay, here we go. How was it that his head was hit so badly and damaged in multiple places? If all of that happened, and all he, if think about this now, I want to
Mm-hmm.
ask this question
Mm-hmm.
just like I did the other one.
Right.
If all of this happened from a slip on the floor,
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't there be some blood around? Wouldn't there be something on the floor that he would fall on?
Especially if he hit himself on the sink, there'd be blood on the sink.
Well,
You would
wait a
think.
minute. That's going to come into play too.
Right.
I love you because you're going right where I want you to go. This is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Saget was on a comedy tour in Florida,
Mm-hmm.
not far from where Amelia is right now.
Mm-hmm.
His first show of 2023 at the Hard Rock in Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He performed in Ponte Vedra.
Mm-hmm.
Ponte Vedra. Okay, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Near Jacksonville. The day before this happened, according to his Instagram page, which he posted on,
Mm-hmm.
because he was updating people where he was going to perform. Okay,
Right. Yes.
that's
Mm-hmm.
all well and good. Okay, so here's what he said. In his final Instagram post, he says, well, he shared a picture. I mean, he showed a picture. And he says, I'm back in comedy like I was when I was 20.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm finding my new voice and loving every moment of it, unquote.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this now, again, this is from the medical authorities and the police. Now, you brought up something before. I'm going to talk about it right
Mm-hmm.
now. Authorities say that Saget accidentally hit the back of his head on something, though, on something, period. And he thought nothing of it and went to sleep. Now, I have a problem here.
Mm-hmm.
If you hit your head so severely, are you going to brush it off like nothing ever happened
No,
and go to sleep?
you're gonna want to call an ambulance or something, or not
The
even be able to
last
get
thing
up.
you're absolutely right. And the last thing you're going to do,
Right.
Amelia, you work in the medical profession. The last thing you're going to do is go to sleep.
Right.
Why don't you want to go to sleep, Amelia?
Because you could die from an
Thank
injury like
you.
that. Yeah.
That's the answer.
Yeah.
That's the answer. You could die. You may not
Mhm.
wake up.
No.
Okay.
If something that's severe, you're gonna not probably even won't be able to get up.
Okay. Well, here we go now.
Yeah.
A fracture was found on the base
Mm-hmm.
of Bob Saget's skull with evidence of bleeding around the brain, according to the medical examiner. Well, okay.
Mm-hmm.
If that's the case, if there's a fracture at the base of his skull. Where's the blood? You're
Exactly.
saying that there's bleeding on the brain. Okay, that's fine. I believe that.
Mhm.
But in order for there to be bleeding in the brain, there has to be bleeding externally.
Mhm.
Something had to fracture.
Right.
Amelia, what's going to happen if you prick your finger with a pen? With a pin? With a pen?
Well, you're gonna if you prick your something so hard, it's gonna bleed. Blood's gonna come out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you want me to believe. You want me to believe that a man
Mhm.
falls and cracks his skull so severely,
Mhm.
but not a drop of blood came out
And there was no blood evidence.
on a bathroom floor that's bone dry.
See that
Listen to
right
this one.
there.
Oh, it
Yeah.
gets better. Amelia,
Mhm.
hold on. We got a lot to cover here. We're going to be here for a little bit.
Mhm.
The medical examiner suggested that
Mhm.
Saget may have fallen. I love this. I love this. So whoever this medical examiner is,
Mhm.
he needs to get a prize for the best storytelling of 2023.
Mm.
Listen to this shit. The medical examiner suggested that Saget may have fallen and hit his head on something hard and then hit his head on something soft, such as a carpeted floor.
May
Okay.
have.
Now, how can that happen if he hits his head? Think about this, folks.
May.
This is not rocket science. I swear to God, it's not rocket science. Okay? Please listen to me. Because you can't make this up.
Oh my
Neil,
gosh.
how many times do we tell people you can't make this up?
Every single
I
show.
swear to you, you can't make this up. Listen to this. Now, this is true.
Mhm.
They say he fractured his head so severely in 4 or 5 different spots.
What?
Now, wait a minute. How do you stand up? How do you stand up and then fall on something soft? If you're in the bathroom,
Especially if it's 4 or 5 different spots, you won't be able
first
to
of
get
all,
up.
how do you get? Thank you. You just, yeah, I got, folks, I have to give her this one.
You can't
How do
get
you,
up.
you can't, that's
No.
the answer. You can't get up.
Uh-uh.
Now, here's the best. Before I get into that one, let's just
Mhm.
talk about what I just said. Okay,
Mhm.
think about that. Now, did I say anything, Amelia, that was out of the ordinary? Everything I just say, you have in front of you.
Yes. It's
Okay.
like you were telling me, this. Wait a minute. There had to have been some foul play right there as us one. He had to have been not the only person in that room for
There we
that to
go.
happen.
There we go.
Mhm.
And that's what I wanted you to do. I
Mhm.
wanted you to open that door so I could drive a truck through it.
Yes.
Because here's what's happening.
Mhm.
Amelia and I don't think that he was alone.
No.
Okay. I think one of two things happened. I think that the police are lying about the videotape in the hotel,
Mhm.
number one, or the videotape in the hotel shows something that they don't want you to see. I do not believe for one moment that Bob Saget got off the elevator by himself. And I don't believe he went into his room by himself. And I'm going to tell you, having been in show business my whole life, why I don't believe that happened. Number one, if you are an act the caliber of Bob Saget, you are a national headliner.
Mhm.
You're going to go to Florida either with your agent or with your manager. And you're probably going to have a local bodyguard help you get around town. Think about something. Somebody had to drive him to the Hard Rock.
Right.
Somebody had to drive him back to the hotel. Okay?
Mhm.
Could be the same person, could be different people.
Right.
Okay? Follow me, because I'm not
Mhm.
finished yet.
Yes.
That's one.
Mhm.
Number two, and this is really critical. Number two, if you're an act of that caliber, like Bob Saget,
Mhm.
and you get paid when you come off stage, where's the paycheck? Question mark. Where's the
Yeah.
pay?
Right.
Whatever happened to Bob's pay for that night? Nobody ever mentioned the paycheck,
Mm-mm.
which had to be at least 10 to 15,000, maybe 20,000,
Right.
or in his case, maybe more.
Right.
Because the Hard Rock Hotel, they pay.
Oh yes.
Okay. They have major headliners there. Okay. And they've got a showroom there that can house stand up comedians and top of the line rock bands like
Mhm.
Aerosmith and Bon Jovi and Guns N' Roses and people
Mhm.
like they got a big theater
Oh yes.
and it's a big it's the Hard Rock Hotel.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay? It's the Hard Rock. And they got money to spend.
Mhm.
Where's his money?
Yeah.
Where's his check? If his manager didn't come, which I think is highly unusual. If his agent didn't come, which I think is even more unusual. Because most of the times it's both.
Yeah. It
Okay.
is.
This is this is what they do. This is what a manager does.
Yeah.
He travels with you to make sure you got what you need.
And you have somebody to guard
Where's
you
his
at all times.
manager?
Mhm.
Where's his manager? He's nowhere to be
No.
found. Nowhere to be
Yeah.
found.
And a local bodyguard, like you were saying, where's that person at? Because you have to have
Yeah.
somebody with you
Who's the
at all
guy that
times.
Amelia? Where's the guy that drove him to the show?
Yeah, it had to have been a shuttle person.
You
Could have
don't
been
think that he called Uber?
no, no. It could have been the shuttle person from the hotel taking them to and from the place. From one
That's
hotel
you
to the other.
made my point for me. Okay,
Mhm.
so where's the shuttle driver?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Where's the shuttle driver?
Yeah.
Even somebody from the valet. Where's the valet?
Yeah.
Did somebody see him leave? No one
Mm-mm.
said a word.
Nope.
No one said a word.
Nope.
Bob took one picture,
Mhm.
one picture in Florida, and it was with, guess what?
Hmm.
A valet
Oh, wow.
at the Hard Rock. I'm sorry, not the Hard Rock,
Right.
at the Ritz Carlton.
Mhm.
And I'm going to get that picture for you tonight. But I want everybody to kind of take a look at this guy.
Mhm.
Okay. This is Bob Saget. America loves this guy.
Mhm.
He was America's favorite dad.
Yes. I grew up watching his shows. Yeah.
Oh, Betty Boop is with us. Hey, Betty Boop. Hi, Restaurant of the Future, and everyone. How you doing, Betty? Betty,
Hey.
listen, we're talking about Bob Saget.
Mhm.
Something's not right here. We think that there was foul play involved. I would love to have your heads up on this one, your insight. What do you think, Betty Boop? So give us a heads up on that. So listen to this, Amelia.
Mhm.
This is, by the way, Amelia's the poster for the show. It says Bob Saget from a full. I think this is brilliant. From a full house to an empty room, or was it? Was it, Amelia? Was it an empty room, or was there something else there?
I think there was something else there. Someone else
I
there.
do too. I really do.
Mhm.
I really believe there was. I think, and I'm saying this because there you go. He was very
Mhm.
young here.
Oh
This
yeah.
is how a lot of people remember him. Was
The
just like,
Full House days. Yes.
yeah, the Full House. He might.
Mhm.
What was he like? Maybe 20, 22, 23.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, he had.
Right,
I
that was
always
a
like
long
to.
time ago.
Yep. We all tuned
That
in to
was a
see what kind
long
of
time.
father advice he would give the girls, and just to see what advice he had for that week.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah, and this here was this is his wife. This is his wife, his current wife, um, and final wife because she's a widow now.
Mhm.
Um, Now she called. Now she's important here because she called. Probably they said 4 or 5 times different. She
Mhm.
called, and then his daughters called
Mhm.
because he had teenage daughters. I think his oldest was what they said 18
Yes.
or something like
Like
18,
that.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
18 years old.
Because he'd always reach out
So
to him when he was out of town to say hi, I love you, good night,
yeah,
anything like that.
exactly,
Mhm.
exactly. In fact, his daughter um posted that
Mhm.
on her Twitter and Instagram.
Mhm.
I also believe she may have posted it on her TikTok.
Yes.
So, do you know if that's
I
the
didn't see
case,
it on the
Amelia?
TikTok, but I know that he'd always tell them that I love you, good night, and I'll be back soon and we'll get together, things like
Right.
that. Mhm.
And then I think this is yeah, here we go. And
Mhm.
so that's just an idea of and he aged very well. He was
They did.
65 years old. He just turned 65. He was like not quite a year older than I,
Mhm.
but about a year older than me.
Yeah.
But because we were in the same age bracket, giving
Mhm.
away my age. Um, so, but you got to think to yourself, you know, yeah, that's kind of one of those things. It's definitely a head scratcher.
Mhm.
Let me read this to you. I want to read something to you. Fractures around Bob Saget's eye socket.
Mhm.
All right, now listen to this. Fractures around Bob Saget's eye socket and bleeding around his brain were possibly caused by the comedian hitting something hard covered by something soft. I love this.
Mhm.
Such as a carpeted floor, according to reports provided by the coroner's office.
Mhm.
The coroner's name is Dr. Stephanie, by the way.
Mhm.
Okay. He had okay. Let's see here. In the incident report
Mhm.
released by the Orange County Sheriff's Office in Orlando, because Orlando, Florida, is Orange County, Florida.
Uh-huh.
A detective notes that Chief Medical Examiner Joshua Stephanie said that the fracture would have stunned Mr. Saget and
Mhm.
that he would have experienced great dizziness.
Right.
Okay. If you're dizzy, are you going to lay down and go to sleep?
No, you're not.
Because he contradicted himself. Because the
Mhm.
doctor said, um, here we go. Oh yeah, here we go. That he thought nothing of it and went to sleep.
No. That's
Now,
not the case. I don't think so.
exactly. Thank
No.
you.
If it was
I just want to make sure that I'm not the one that's cracking up here.
no,
Okay.
something like that, you're gonna like go, wait a minute, out. You're gonna want to sit down for a minute and say, okay, this is so bad, I need to go to the hospital or call ambulance or something like that. It's that severe.
Here's the interesting statement. Listen to this. Just don't read anything into it yet. Just listen to what I'm going to say first.
Mm-hmm.
Had he been with people at the time, they would have noticed confusion, balance and or stuttered speech issues. It does not pinpoint a location for Saget's fall. That's another contradiction because the doctor said he fell in the bathroom
Mm-hmm.
and the police said he fell in the bathroom. Then all of a sudden, a day later, Amelia,
Mm-hmm.
they changed their story. Okay? It would have been impossible with that type of injury for Saget to make a 2.5 hour drive from Jacksonville to Orlando as he did the night before his body was discovered. So now you're going to sit there and tell me, anybody with a half a decent brain, you're going to sit there and tell me that this guy functioned the whole weekend with that kind of trauma? I don't buy it.
No.
I don't buy it. I think it's bullshit. I think the police, not even so much the police, but yes, I believe the police are guilty too.
Right.
But I'll tell you who I think's even more guilty. That fucking medical examiner.
Mm-hmm.
That medical examiner. And I will tell you, for whatever you think it's worth, I will tell you that I think that there was serious foul play afoot. I think that this man was not alone.
Mm-mm.
It's impossible for me to believe that he was alone for two reasons. Somebody had to get him there. Somebody had to bring him back to the hotel.
Mm-hmm. And the way
And
you
it's
said
not
that
a
he
5
drove.
minute, and it's not a 5-minute drive, Amelia.
Mm-mm.
It's a 2-hour drive. Why?
Right.
You say to yourself, Amelia, why would they have this show 2 hours away?
Right.
Let me explain
Exactly.
to you. Here's why. Here's why. The Hard Rock Hotel. If he had stayed at the Hard Rock Hotel, what's going to happen?
Oh, people are gonna go just ambush him.
They're going to ambush him. They're going to try and
Mm-hmm.
find out what room is he staying in.
Mm-hmm.
That's why when you're a celebrity, you perform at one place, but you stay someplace like
Mm-hmm.
hours away.
Right.
It wouldn't surprise me in some cases they helicopter you there.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
in this case, they drove him. Now that's a 2-hour drive, 2.5
Mm-hmm.
hours.
Right.
Okay, because how far are you from Jacksonville?
Oh gosh, at least 3 hours or so.
Okay, and how far are you from
Orlando, or
yeah,
not too far, like an hour or so. But I think Mike Missy is real. It lives in Jacksonville, I believe.
exactly, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Our friend Mikey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But that's the point I'm trying to it's not close
Mm-mm.
is the point I'm
No,
trying to
it's
make.
not close at all, and you
It's
would take
hours
forever.
away.
Mm-hmm.
It's at least a 2.5, 3-hour drive.
Yeah.
They're saying 2 hours.
And the way you were talking right there, what sounded like he actually supposedly rented a car. Maybe it didn't sound like somebody drove him.
So
But
here is I want to read something to you.
mm-hmm.
This is very significant.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Gavin Britz says
Mm-hmm.
this is a significant trauma.
Mm-hmm.
He is the chair of neurology at Houston Methodist Hospital in Texas.
Yeah, I saw that. What he said, I was like, yeah, that
Well,
was.
yeah, I'm going to read that right now.
Mm-hmm.
This is something I find with someone with a baseball bat to the head.
That's why
Or
that.
someone who has fallen 20 or 30 feet.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Thank you for saying that. Yep. There you go. Thank you for saying that.
Dr. Britz noted that the autopsy described fractures
Yep.
to particularly thick parts of the skull,
Yes.
as well as to bones in the roof of the eye socket.
Mm-hmm.
If you fracture your orbit, he said, referring to those eye bones,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
you have significant pain and you're going to go to sleep. Are you fucking
Thank
kidding
you
me?
for saying that. Yep. Yeah. See where I'm going there?
So
Yeah.
here's the position, ladies and gentlemen,
Mm-hmm.
that Amelia and I take. Bob Saget, rest in peace. You were murdered, my friend.
Yeah.
And Amelia and I are going to find out who the hell killed you.
Yes.
We're going to do that. We're not done with this show.
No.
This is just part one.
Mm-hmm.
Here's another thing that we have to talk about. Okay. There's a drug called benzodiazepine. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's widely prescribed in older people, like the elderly.
Mm-hmm.
Despite warnings about side effects, they still take it. People who take them face increased risk of falls and fractures.
Yes.
and fatalities from auto accidents or because of reduced cognition.
Hmm.
You're not going to tell me that this man took that kind of drug knowing that he had 5 shows to do.
No,
There's no way. I don't believe
none.
that.
Especially without
And
any
he did
food.
5 sellout shows
Mm-mm.
in front of standing ovation audiences.
No.
He got standing ovations every show.
Yes.
You don't get a standing ovation by being bad,
No.
okay? You get a standing ovation by knocking them out,
Yes.
by putting it out of the park, as they
Uh-huh.
say.
And in the autopsy that you were reading, not once did you say that he had any food in his system.
Now, here's what we're going to talk about, you and me, because we love a good conspiracy.
Hmm. Oh, can we wait to tell them after the break, after commercial break?
Oh, yes, we have to do a word of our sponsor. Yes.
Hmm.
Thank you for mentioning that because
Yes.
I almost did it again. Folks, Amelia, she's on the ball tonight. This kid, I want to keep her around for a couple more weeks. Here we go. Do you have sweaty balls or volleyball netty balls? It's time to make them ready balls. The Manscaped.com Lawnmower 3.0 will do the job and clean your knob with its patented no-nick head, so your head will function as desired. Enter promo code Wrestling Future for a generous 20% discount. That's enter Wrestling Future for a 20% discount. Manscaped.com and Wrestling with the Future, going balls to the walls with Manscaped.com and the Lawnmower 3.0. Your balls will thank you, and so will we. Amelia loves that commercial because there's a big fat hairy guy in it,
I was just shocked when the first time I saw it. I was like, "Whoa!"
right? But we need to do one more thing. I want to
Yes.
read because then you and I are going to spend the next 20 minutes or so talking about what the hell could have really happened here.
Yes.
Um, sadly,
Hmm.
the passing of Bob Saget has become the latest celebrity death shrouded in mystery. And that's something we got to talk about. We're actually going to do a show about that in a couple of weeks.
Hmm.
Why? Why did these celebrities have to die mysteriously?
Yeah,
It sounds too convenient to me, Amelia.
Dave Coulier and John Stamos were his co-stars on Full House, and they were even stunned by his death. They were like, of all people, him? Why?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because he was not a drug guy. He
None.
wasn't a drug user.
Mm-mm.
That's why I don't believe a word
Hmm.
of this drug bullshit.
Right.
Again, sadly, the passing of Saget has become the latest celebrity death to be shrouded in mystery and less than satisfying explanations
Hmm.
on how someone that seems so healthy and vibrant and full of life could suddenly be dead from a fracture to the head like this. How?
Yeah, exactly.
How?
And then with the blunt to the head like that, like you were saying, it was like a baseball bat to the head. Why would somebody, want to die like that or have to have died like that? It just doesn't make any sense. In the family, why would you want to hide something like that? Let's get to the bottom of this. Let's find out what happened to Bob
Well, the
Saget.
questions and theorizing are not likely to quiet anytime soon. You know that.
No,
Because
exactly.
we're not going to keep quiet about it either.
No, I'm gonna lift every
Given that,
single rock.
yeah, given that the beloved 65-year-old Full House comedian
Hmm.
died on January 9th alone in his hotel room in Florida, no one saw him get hurt. No one saw him get off the elevator. No one saw him go in his hotel room. No one saw him leave the hotel to go to his show.
Hmm.
No one at the Hard Rock saw him come back to his hotel.
Hmm.
Okay, but we know he did because he got there and did 5 shows.
Right. He had to come
In a
back.
new report, here we go. Wait a minute, it gets good.
Hmm.
In a new report, authorities admit that the autopsy and death investigation left unanswered questions. Do you fucking think Really,
Yeah,
Sherlock? Do you fucking think?
yeah.
About how Saget suffered extensive injuries. The injuries included multiple, listen to this, Meal,
Hmm.
multiple skull fractures around his head and eyes. Now,
Multiple.
why is that unusual? Especially if you're gonna, they say he hit his head.
Multiple means that if you hit your head, that's only one time. Multiple means that you have had to have been hit several times.
That's one thing. But here's the other thing. I want you to look at the nose.
Uh
Look
huh.
at the nose.
Uh huh.
Okay, watch me. If you're falling forward
Uh
like
huh.
this,
Uh huh.
what's going to hit first, your eye or your nose?
Your nose.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So how did you get your eyes, both eye sockets fractured by falling face forward, but your eye sockets are fractured, but your nose is not broke?
Somebody would have
Like,
had to have hit you from.
thank you. You just said the
Yeah.
magic word. Somebody had to hit you.
Yeah, and like it had to have been something the
You
size of
heard
a
what Dr.
baseball bat
Brazier
or something.
said.
Yeah.
You heard what Dr. Gavin Britt
Brits.
said.
Yeah.
Somebody hit him with a fucking baseball bat
Several times.
several times. Is exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what they're saying. The injuries included multiple skull fractures around his head and eyes, which authorities say happened from a seemingly routine fall while Saget was getting ready for bed. Bullshit. Now they changed. Remember, I said to you
Uh-huh.
they're going to change their story a third time. There's the
Right.
third time.
And there had to have been maids walking up and down the hallway changing rooms. Somebody had to have been paid off to be quiet.
Here's the question.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely an unusual case, said the sheriff's deputy. There are still a lot of unanswered questions. Um,
Exactly.
in talking to investigators, People magazine has pieced together more details about Bob Saget's final hours and has gotten them to offer a theory about how he died from a fall in the bedroom. Guess what?
Mm-hmm.
People magazine had to pull their article.
What?
Yes. Okay, and I'm going to tell you
Mm-hmm.
why. Because the Florida Medical Examiner's Office in Orange County threatened them.
Oh.
They said, our investigation is not complete. You cannot report that.
But they could
And
have
if you
reported
do,
it.
we'll sue you.
Oh my gosh. Really?
Yeah,
They
really.
they could have reported anything they want. I mean, it's like investigative reporting 101. I mean, pretty much everybody was saying the same thing, and they
Here
had
we
the
go.
guts to approve to print it.
Here we go. The night before Saget's death in room 962 at the Ritz-Carlton,
Uh-huh.
he performed a 2-hour show in Jacksonville. Then he returned to his hotel where he appeared to have the vitality of a man half his age, People magazine reported. He was cracking jokes, waving to people in the lobby, said a hotel employee of the Ritz-Carlton. When people were asking for selfies, he would run over and grab their phones and take the pictures with them.
Mm-hmm.
He was joking in the lobby the whole time. He was a ball of happy, positive energy.
Mm-hmm.
A surveillance camera showed Saget. Listen to this one. This is the mysterious surveillance camera that nobody's ever seen the film of.
Hmm.
I want you to listen to this because we're going to talk about all this conspiracy stuff.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
Surveillance camera showed Saget exiting the elevator on the 9th floor and walking down a hallway to his room alone.
Mm.
He showed no signs of distress. He showed no signs of being dizzy. He put the key card into the room
Mhm.
at 2:17 a.m. He hung the do not disturb sign and locked the door behind him from the inside. How they know that, I don't know, because there's no knob on it. When you lock it from the inside, it just locks from the inside.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. People magazine reported the door did not open again till the next day at 4 p.m. in the afternoon. When hotel security entered the room to see if Bob Saget was okay, his wife, Kelly Rizzo, called. He was supposed to fly out that morning
Mhm.
back to Los Angeles. Instead, hotel security found the comedian dead.
Isn't checkout
According to
time at noon?
yeah, right. They waited till the next fucking day to do a well check. You know what that's all about. You do well checks.
Yeah.
According to the autopsy report, which, by the way, we have the full autopsy report,
Mhm.
his left arm was across his chest
Mhm.
while his right arm was resting on the bed.
Mhm. So
No
bad.
signs of trauma were seen.
Mhm.
That's bullshit because the medical examiner said he had trauma around the eyes and
Mhm.
he had a a skull fracture. I don't
So
know about you, but that sounds like trauma to me.
so they at first they wanted to make it look like he had a heart attack, so they couldn't pull that off. So they tried to make it look like he had hurt his head. They couldn't pull that off.
Yeah,
So
they couldn't pull that one out. Now that didn't work, Amelia.
nope.
Okay, so let's talk about this because this is serious.
Yeah, because I was
So
thinking.
this guy, this beloved comedian that everybody loves,
Mhm.
he dies under very, very mysterious circumstances.
Mhm.
So mysterious that you have to ask the question, what really happened? Was it murder?
Mhm.
Was it just a sad, unfortunate accident where everything just lined up the wrong way?
Mhm.
I don't buy that theory.
I don't think so either. And then of
Or
course,
or was there, or as Dr. Gavin Britz said, did somebody take a baseball bat to his head?
yeah, I'm going with a baseball bat to the head because, as you know, there's all these weird fans out there that are
Yeah.
so like
Here's the other
infatuated.
thing, and I'm glad you brought that up
Mhm.
because here's the other thing that I keep thinking about.
Mhm.
Where's his money?
Yeah.
Where was his money at?
Yeah. Did he
Where's
get
the
paid cash,
paycheck?
check, the money order? What was it that they got paid?
Well, here's my question.
Mhm.
He leaves the Hard Rock Hotel in Jacksonville, right?
Mhm.
He leaves there, and then then they drive him back 2.5, 3 hours to the Ritz Carlton.
Mhm.
Did somebody rob him? Did
Yeah.
they say they pull a gun on him and say cash the check and give me the money?
Right.
Okay.
That's
Did
another
they pay him
scenario.
did
Mhm.
they pay him in cash?
Mhm.
Because the Hard Rock will do that.
Yeah, they
They'll
will.
pay you in cash.
Mhm.
They don't like to, but they will.
Yeah. So that way
They like to give
everybody.
you a check.
Mhm.
But what happened, Amelia,
Mhm.
if somebody, let's say, pulls a gun out and says, cash the check. I'm taking your money, cash the check.
Yeah, you're gonna
And
give them the
they
check.
rob him. Let's say it was a robbery gone wrong.
Mhm. Or he's gonna say, "Well, I'm sorry, but the money's in my hotel room." Well, let's go to your hotel
Well,
room.
how do you they say that he got off the elevator by himself. I don't believe it.
I don't think so. Could have been somebody following behind him with a gun or something behind him, made it look like it was just somebody going to another room.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there was an adjoining room to his room, and that door was unlocked
That
also.
door was, in fact, unlocked.
I did remember hearing that
Yeah,
as well.
that door was unlocked. So
Mhm.
we got to figure out, was it unlocked and unoccupied? That's the question.
Was he killed in that room and brought into his room?
Well,
Mm. See what I mean? There's another
The
scenario.
question, first of all, the major question is,
Mhm,
why was the door unlocked? If you're a celebrity,
mhm,
is that something that you're really going to, aren't you going to say to the front desk that, the door is open here? Can
mhm.
you lock it from the other side?
Right?
Wouldn't you think, right?
Yeah,
Am I
because
wrong?
if it's a joining room, you can lock it from your side and everything, or have them say, "Look, I don't want a joining room. Can you
Well,
make sure
yeah,
the other room's locked?"
but no, I know how those double doors work, those
Mhm.
adjoining rooms.
Yeah.
You, if you lock it from your side,
Mhm.
people on the other side can unlock it. If
Mhm.
if I'm if I know right,
Yeah.
but if there's
A
there's a
chain, a
key.
thing. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't know how it works like in at the Hard Rock. I mean
Mhm. Yeah,
at
I
the Ritz. But
mhm.
you're talking about the Ritz Carlton. It's not like
Mm-mm.
it's not a fly by night place. It's a major hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
you
so
would
what do you
think
think about all this? Tell me.
yeah, you would think that you would be able to say, "Look, I'm gonna be staying here and I see that there's an adjoining room. Can you make sure that there's gonna be not occupied, or if it is occupied, can you make sure it's gonna stay locked on my end? Or is there a way that we could at least make sure that nobody bothers me in the next room? Is there a
Yeah.
way that I could keep it locked? Or can I put something in front of the door so nobody
Yeah.
comes in and bothers me?"
Well, let me ask you a question. Let's talk about some of the unanswered questions here.
Mhm.
Um, they say that he was in a happy, jovial mood, taking
Mhm.
selfies with people.
Mhm.
Um, goes back from the Hard Rock to the Ritz Carlton, so it's a couple of hours away. All right, so it's like a 2-3 hour drive.
Mhm.
All right, is he gonna, especially especially if he's got money on him?
Yeah.
Isn't he gonna like protect his money?
Yeah. I would say yes, he
Wouldn't
was
you
gonna do
think?
that.
Or was it, or was his money sent to his wife?
It could have been sent to the wife. We don't know because nobody answered that question.
No, nobody. Not only did nobody ever saw a paycheck.
Mm-mm, and nobody ever interviewed the driver to and
My
from.
question
Mhm,
is, and it's a very simple question: who was with him, and what did they want?
exactly. Money or overzealous fan. "Hey, I'm your biggest fan," because
Oh,
that's
there's
happened
always
before.
we know there's a lot of that.
Mhm,
We know there's a lot of them around.
mhm.
Sadly,
Yeah,
but yeah, sadly, but we know.
and
Let me see something. I want to see. Um, let's take a look at this, Amelia.
mhm,
Oh wait, hold on. I gotta. But I'm going to show a video,
mhm,
but I want people just to hang. Let's just. I tell you what. Offer. I want you while I'm doing this. I want you to offer everybody your insights as to why you think this was a murder. You brought this to me
mhm,
a couple weeks ago, actually, wasn't it?
mhm. Yes.
So why do you think this was the murder?
First of all, I think, well, when you go into a room, you're going by yourself. Like that's a key point. Like you were saying earlier, you're going to bring somebody with you to a show every time. You're not going to just come by yourself. And two, you're going to at least
Okay.
try to
Well,
find.
I'm putting this video. We're going to see it shortly.
And
Um.
you. And secondly, you're
Okay.
going to at least want
Go
to.
ahead.
Also going to want to find somewhere probably a little bit closer to where you're going to be doing your show. And three, you're going to want to make sure that you have at least a bodyguard if you're not going to have a manager with you. You're not going to want to be alone. And you're also going to make
Yeah.
sure, like he said, have your money
You
with
would think
you or at
so.
least transferred into your account. Not, cash. If you're going to do cash, you're going to want to
Exactly.
have it transferred automatically into your account that night or at
Absolutely.
least within the hours. And if you're going to,
So let
of
me ask
course,
you a
approach
question
the
then. Let me ask you to put your detective hat on here.
Mhm.
Because I know
and
you
the
love Playing Detective.
and the fall was
Why?
that's something to me was just nope.
Well, let me ask you the magic question.
Hmm.
What's the motivation? What would
The
be the
mo
motivation?
mhm.
Why
um
would you kill a guy that hasn't done anything to you?
I'm gonna say this one here. There's been a lot of overzealous fans. I'm gonna go to that route because
Yeah.
there's been cases where this girl was just signing autographs, real happy, and all of a sudden this guy was over possessive with her and came in and just shot her. He just shot her
Yeah.
out of the blue
Well,
and out in front of everybody.
it happened many years ago.
Hmm.
Uh, um 10, 10 to 12 years ago it happened. A young woman was on a show called The Voice. Remember that show, The
Yeah.
Voice?
Yes.
You remember that show?
Yeah. She was just signing
It
autographs,
was a
and her
show called The
brother.
Voice.
Hmm.
And yeah, she was signing order. Her Christine Grimmie, her name was.
Yeah, and her
And she
brother
lived about
happened to.
10 minutes from where I am right now.
Yes, I loved her.
Yeah,
She was one of my favorites. Yes.
amazing. Yeah. Let's check this
And
out.
she
Watch
just.
this. I got some videos we're going to see. Let's watch this one first.
Mhm.
It's kind of a badge of honor
Yeah.
that I get to, and I have three amazing daughters, and I get to prove that I can live a long time, you know,
Yeah.
and I get to entertain people.
Duval County?
Bob was loving getting back into the stand-up comedy game. He was having so much fun on stage Saturday in Jacksonville, Florida. His set lasted longer than expected.
Awesome. Have a great night.
He described it best in this Instagram post following the show. I had no idea I did a 2-hour set tonight. I'm back in comedy like I was when I was 26. I guess I'm finding my new voice and loving every moment of it.
Security officer found the guest not breathing, no pulse.
Access has obtained the police report that states that security was called after family members couldn't reach Bob. They found him in bed, his left arm across his chest, right arm resting on the bed. He was cold to the touch, yellow and clammy. The sheriff said there were no signs of foul play or drugs. Bob had revealed he had just recently recovered from COVID.
He said he felt.
I got one. I'm going to stop at there.
Mm-mm.
I got one question. When somebody dies,
Mhm.
have you ever heard them described as yellow and clammy?
No.
I've always heard them described as blue.
Blue, yes. And
Yeah,
cold, very, very cold.
cold. Yeah, thank you.
Mhm,
All right,
mhm.
let's watch.
Great from the COVID, and he was wearing a mask on Friday night as a courtesy to people.
One of the last people with Saget was comedian Tim Wilkins, who opened the show for Bob.
He said he felt great. He looked great. He was full of energy. At soundcheck, he was full of energy both nights. He had a lot of life and a lot of things he was still looking forward to doing.
Saget fan Rebecca Bearswelt was in the audience.
Nearing the end of his set, there was a man with his 3 daughters in the front row. And then he asked, like, hey, who is this? And the dad was like, this is my 3 daughters. And he's like, oh my gosh, 3 daughters just like my own.
Okay. I have a breaking report from Moonchild. Our friend Moonchild is
Hey.
is back. I have missed you,
Yes, we
young
have.
lady. I have missed you something fierce. I'm glad you're back.
Mhm. Yes,
Listen
we
to this
have.
one. Not long before his death, he and his
Mhm,
wife were talking about movies, and she said,
mhm.
"You better watch out." We said this to Amelia. His family
Mhm.
is hiding something as
Yes.
not to ruin his reputation.
Mhm.
Just my opinion. Don't come for me. No, I get what you're saying, Moonchild. I'm definitely with you on that.
Yes.
I want you to know that Amelia and I, that's the position we're taking.
Mhm.
We absolutely, I'm convinced of it.
Yes.
that his family's hiding something. I think they're trying to show him in his best light.
Yes.
They don't want him to die with this aura of mystery over him.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be honest with you, I cannot blame them.
No,
But
we
by
have.
the same token, don't you want the truth to come out?
Yes.
I mean, what's more important, his reputation or the truth?
Yeah, exactly. Because we don't want
People's
anything to happen to somebody else like happened to him.
Well, but here's the thing, too, Amelia, and you pointed it out before.
Hmm.
People loved him.
We did. We loved him as TV dad. We looked up to him every
That was
Friday night.
America's TV dad.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
People loved him. They're not going to judge him.
No, not at
Look at
all.
all these years. Look at all these years.
Mm-hmm.
People talked about Michael Jackson, the kind of
Mm-hmm.
wacko jacko they
Yeah.
called him.
Yeah.
Elvis Presley, they called him a fat, bloated drug
Mm-hmm.
addict.
Yeah.
Look at him now.
Yeah.
Both of these guys.
Yeah.
Go ahead and add Bob Saget to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was
They're
saddened.
legendary. They're
Yeah,
legendary.
I was saddened to hear when Bob Saget died because to me,
I
I
was
looked up
shocked.
to him. I looked up to him when I was growing up to hear his advice. I know it was just a lot of writers, but he brought it out like an actual dad, and he was like, what?
Exactly.
That's what my dad would say, and I would listen to his advice, and everybody that's giving a hug here, that's like that's my dad. That's what my dad would say, and I looked forward to the advice, and that made me so sad. And I said, you know what?
Yeah.
Something's wrong here. He did not just die from
Yeah.
falling backwards or whatever they said.
And I'm
There's
glad you
foul
said that.
play.
Let's finish. Let's do the rest of this. Let's finish watching the rest of this.
His oldest daughter, Aubrey, shared a screenshot of the last text message she received from her dad just moments before he took to the stage. It said, simply, "Thank you, love you, showtime."
I've had so many good times with my kids. I guess we went to Hawaii last year, just the four of us, and that was every day's Father's Day when I'm with my kids because we just have a good time together.
There's a horse in my living room.
Most beloved for his role as Danny Tanner in the 80s sitcom Full House, Bob and his fellow castmates were like family, and it showed in their posts following news of Bob's passing.
I thank God for the people that I did the show with, because that's why we're all still friends, because they know me. I treated those kids like I would have treated my own, which is a lot of hugging. I'm still friends with all of them, every single cast member.
So you could tell that he had, a really close relationship.
Oh, yeah.
And, when I can tell you, because I know people who are on soap opera. I mean, not soap operas, who are on sitcoms now,
Oh, yeah.
and who were. And
Mhm.
I can tell you that you become a family
Oh, yes, that
with these
absolutely.
people.
Mhm.
And people don't understand that.
Mhm.
You really do become like a family with these
You
people.
do. I mean, you're there day after day with them, running the lines, the shows, and for one episode, you're there for like a whole week just to do one show.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you're there for years after so many, like there's so many seasons, you're gonna get to know each other's lives. You're gonna go to weddings and births. You're gonna know all of that, and you become a second family. And that's what he was to those girls.
Yeah. I want to make sure that I want to see something here. I want to make sure that I have all the clips lined up I want, because there's one more I think I want to show this. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a badge of honor that I
we
get
did this
to,
one already.
and I have
Okay. Yeah, I already did that. Okay.
Mhm.
I just wanted to make sure.
Yes.
So but I wanted you, it was important. I wanted you to hear from
Mm-hmm.
the people who worked with him, and
Mhm.
I wanted you to hear himself.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a guy
No.
that was full of himself. He was very humble.
Mm-hmm.
He never looked high. He
None.
never looked stoned or drunk.
No.
He looked like a guy who loved his family
Yes.
and loved making people laugh and loved working.
All the
And
time.
yeah, and I have a problem believing that he had this dark side. Well,
Exactly.
I want to go back to what Moonchild said
Mhm.
because it's important.
Mhm.
Not long before his death, he and his wife were talking about movies, and she said, "You better watch out." Now, what does that mean? You better watch out. His family's hiding something. You and I, Amelia, said that.
Mhm. He
They
could have
don't
been
want to
getting.
ruin his reputation.
Mhm.
And I believe that. I absolutely believe that.
Yes.
They don't want to ruin his rep.
Mhm.
But by the same token, not ruining his reputation is withholding the truth.
Yes. Could be
And
withholding
maybe
evidence, getting
and
the real
maybe it
killer.
well, I was gonna say
Mhm.
maybe it's more important to his wife and children to protect his reputation than to protect him.
Or protecting themselves as well. They could be protecting themselves from something.
Well, and that's something we haven't even gone there yet.
Mhm.
That's you realize it's already 10 after 8.
Wow.
Wow, we blew by this show today. Holy shit.
Because we have a lot to cover, and I know there's going to be another part two because we still haven't
There has
covered
to be. I
anything yet.
haven't even gotten to my other papers that I
No.
printed out from the Amelia file. Are you shitting me?
Yeah,
I call this the Amelia file, ladies and gentlemen, because I never did. I've done this show for 6 years, and I've never had, and I promise you, I never had a note. I never had a little cheat sheet. I never had any papers or notes in front of me of any type, any shape or form. Not even little post-its. All right. Then I met this crazy woman, and she prints everything.
I have to print everything because in case I have to write something down. And that my choir teacher in high school said, "Here, you're going to be with me. You're going to have a pen and you're going to have paper because we're going to write stuff down." So
Yeah, and I got 12 pages tonight on Bob Saget.
yeah.
Okay,
So
there you go.
I'm
12
up to
pages on
five.
Bob.
I'm up to 5 reams of paper I owe him already.
Oh, wait a minute. By the way, I bought a ream of paper for myself.
Oh,
So you don't owe me 3 now. You just owe me 1.
just what? Oh, I thought it was up to 5.
No, you owe me 1
One.
big fucking ream. Is what you owe me. Yeah. You owe me a box of paper from W.B. Mason or someplace.
Oh, okay.
From the paper company. Well, listen, what else? What do we got coming up this tomorrow night? What's
Tomorrow
on
we're
the
going to
tomorrow night?
be discussing runaways, not just children, but parents run
Yes.
away too. Would you know that? Parents run away from their children. Leave
Yes.
them at home to fend for themselves.
It's scary.
Yeah, very scary.
It's scary. Yeah. You know, the whole idea of runaways, and even though I like when I might have at one point when I was 5, maybe
5 years old.
when I was 5, I might have got mad at my parents and said, "I'm running away from home."
Did you have that
And
little
I think I,
handkerchief on the little pole thing?
yeah, I did, and I went out in the backyard.
Oh,
I did. I went out in the backyard.
you little camping.
But now it's a whole different world
Yeah.
now.
It is
Because
scary.
people are like for real, like way running away.
Mhm.
We're going to talk about the case of a guy. We're going to do a show. You and I'll
Mhm.
talk about it after when we're off the air.
Mhm.
We're going to do a show about a guy named Kai.
Mhm.
That's his name. His name is Kai. They call him the they call him the hatchet wielding hitchhiker. He's the hatchet wielding hitchhiker. Let me get it right. I want to get this right. Hold on. I want to make sure I get this right because his last name. What is his last name? Hold on.
And while he's looking that
His
up,
name. Here it is. I found him. Here it is.
Uh-huh.
His name is Kai the Hitchhiker. His real legal name is Caleb Lawrence McLivery. What now? I'm not going to tell anybody, but it's called Kai the Hitchhiker. That's just Google it. Kai the hitchhiker. And that's all I'm saying at the moment. But when you, like, for example, this guy ran away when he was 12 years old. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And has been a runaway his whole life. He
Hmm.
traveled back and forth across the country on the
Wow.
generosity of strangers.
Wow.
And then he met the wrong guy.
Mm.
And then he ended up killing the guy.
Oh boy.
And he says he killed him in self-defense.
Hmm.
And guess where that was? Right here in New Jersey.
Oh my.
And guess where Kai's from? Venice Beach, California.
All the way from California, traveled all the way up to New
California,
Jersey.
from one ocean to the other.
What? Wow.
From
Pacific to the Atlantic, huh?
From Venice Beach, California to Asbury Park, New Jersey.
Wow.
From one ocean to the other. He traveled across the country.
Mm.
Okay? We're going to talk about that. But tomorrow night, we're going to talk about why people run away, why kids run away, why parents run away. Why is everybody, why are they running and where are they going?
Why can't they just stay and face the consequences and get help?
Well, that would mean being responsible. God help us, please. Don't get me started on that. If I get started on that question tonight, we'll end up doing tomorrow night's show tonight. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to get the hell out of here. Wednesday, a very special live afternoon edition of What's the Buzz. I will be interviewing former Cavern Club owner Debbie Greenberg as we talk about what it was like knowing the Beatles. And she knew them all. She knew them all. And she even knows their secretary, Frida Kelly. By the way, Frida is still alive.
Wow.
Yep, Frida's still alive and still kicking. And yeah, Frida's still around, man. making money off the Beatles. She was their secretary, believe it or not.
Wow.
Yeah. She was the secretary, the official secretary to the Beatles. And she was the president of the very, very first official Beatles fan club.
Wow.
Yep. Can't make it shut up. So listen, for Amelia Pitbull Chapman, I am the Mad Dog, Angelo DeCipio. We will see you tomorrow night right here on What's the Buzz. Good night, everybody. Take care.